Plate number 4. Caves. With the help of the plate in front of you, you can get to know a cave better. Feel the whole plate with your fingers. In the upper part of the plate, about in the middle, you can feel a tree with a bushy crown. To the left of the tree is a human figure. The tree and the human are on solid ground, but there is a cave underneath. The rest of the plate is covered by a rough surface. It represents rock that borders the inside of the cave. Feel the bumps inside the cave and remember what you have already learned. Are you able to identify the specific items? In the bottom right corner, there is a QR code. Use your mobile phone to scan it and listen to the description whenever you want. Caves are underground spaces that form naturally due to geological processes. In caves you can find all sorts of stalactites, rock formations, huge underground spaces, clear lakes, or underground gorges through which raging water, from rain showers or thawed snow, can flow. Many caves have been iced over on the inside, but with climate change, the ice and the beauty of the underground ice worlds are receding. Humans have entered caves in the distant past and even inhabited some of them in prehistoric times, which is why they are considered places of historical monuments and archaeological discoveries. Bones of long-extinct creatures have often been found in caves. Many caves are created in karst, which is a landscape consisting of limestone, dolomite and gypsum rocks that slowly dissolve in the presence of water. When rain falls to the ground it mixes with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The rain absorbs the enriched gas as it seeps into the soil. This makes the water acidic. The acidic water seeps through cracks and crevices in the soil, creating a complex network of underground tunnels, similar to an underground water system. The trickling water widens the channels, enabling more water to pass through. The water runs downwards until it reaches the zone where the rock is completely saturated, which means that, like a soaking sponge, it simply cannot absorb any more water. Water masses move back and forth in this area, which is why some caves are almost horizontal. Eventually, some pathways grow big enough to be called caves. It usually takes over 100,000 years for a cave to be big enough to fit people in. Therefore, cave creation requires rocks, water, and most importantly, a lot of time. What do you think of the cave shown on the plate? At the top of the plate you have probably found the tree in the middle, with its bushy green crown clinging to two thick branches and the trunk. You know that next to the tree there is a human being, whose red figure you have also found. To the left of the person, the dark grey area is interrupted, and a bit farther, it continues until it reaches the left edge of the plate. The tree and the human are standing on the rough surface at this height, and the upper edge of the surface corresponds to the surface of the earth. Anything felt below is already underground. Feel these two dark grey areas again. The rough dark grey area represents karst, a landscape type comprised of limestone, dolomite and gypsum rock that dissolves slowly in the presence of water, which is how most caves are formed. Start at the edge of the surface on your right. A little to the left, the surface is interrupted by a rather deep groove. These grooves are known as cairn or shraton. They appear on exposed limestone rock surfaces and are formed by the impact of rainwater. They can be a few tens of centimeters deep and, in the tropics, they can reach several meters in size. Continue to the left. You will discover that the surface ends abruptly and your fingers will sink down because they have encountered a sinkhole or karst funnel. It's a round or bowl-like hole that could be several meters deep. In this spot, it could also be a pona, a swallow hole, where water trickles underneath the ground, forming a continuous hole, similar to a chimney, which gradually widens, sinks deeper and forms a gorge. Water gets under the surface where it can form caves. If you run your fingers over the hollow area, you will discover the vast underground karst formation. The entryway to the cave is on the left side of the formation, marked by a dark grey and rough karst surface. On the right side of the cave wall, there is an opening that could lead to an underground cavity, or to a passage leading to the next cave room. The light grey vertical objects you find in the cave are rock formations called speleothems or dripstones. They hang from the ceiling like icicles or emerge from the ground like mushrooms. Sometimes, a hanging and a standing dripstone grow towards each other until they collide. At the top, near the ceiling of the cave, you can find vertical objects of different thickness and length hanging from the ceiling of the cave. These hanging dripstones are called stalactites and are formed when water drops from the ceiling of the cave. If they are particularly thin and long, they are called sinter tubes or macaroni. On the cave floor, we also find dripstones that become more pointed towards the top. These are known as stalagmites. They are formed when water drops fall from the ceiling. The water drops contain lime that has dissolved from the limestone in the surrounding area. When the calcareous water drips down from stalactites, the remaining lime forms the dripstone directly below, as if in a mirror image. If you wanted to walk through the cave from the right edge of the plate, you would have to avoid the column formed by the confluence of stalactite and stalagmite. In the lower left corner of the plate you feel a hollow, which consists of a big surface and smaller, differently shaped rough surfaces. In reality, these surfaces would be sintered stones. They are layers of limestone deposits on the floor of the cave. Sinter stones can also be found on the walls of the cave and are formed where water runs down the walls or floor of the cave. Caves are a temporary home for bats, who sleep there during the day and hibernate there during the winter. If you disturb them on your cave walk, it sounds like this. Bigger animals often seek shelter near the cave entrance for various reasons. The underground spaces are used by bears, foxes, and badgers for hibernation. Lynx, wildcats, and badgers find daily refuge here, while wolves like to hide their young in the cave.